Good evening, everyone. I would like to call this evening's King's Board of Education regular board meeting to order. Mr. Morrow, can you please call the roll?
Ms. Phillips,
Here.
Ms. Groff,
Here.
Ms. Cowan, Mr. Belfrom, Mr. Skirl.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
One nation, God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Morrow?
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Ms. Cowan, Mr. Skirl.
Yes. First on our agenda this evening, we have reports and presentations. Mr. Sears, I'll hand it over to you.
Yep. Thank you, Board of Education. And to those of you in the audience, thank you all for joining us and taking your time out of the most beautiful night we've had in about 8 months. So we do appreciate that. It's just an awesome opportunity for us to take time to recognize some of our student athletes and the incredible work they've done through their performances. And we have a few presentations this evening that we're excited about. An interior design update from our folks at SHP, followed by our KECC strategic initiative update. And then everybody's favorite topic at the end of this presentation is more on state funding. So that's how we'll conclude this. So at this point in time, I'm going to turn this over to our athletic director, Mr. Eric Taylor. And he's going to talk about some of our student athletes and coaches and some incredible accomplishments we've had throughout this winter.
Thank you, Mr. Sears. As you mentioned, we have a great opportunity to recognize accomplishments from two of our teams from this winter and state qualifying. Those two teams are our swim team that had several state qualifiers and our indoor track team. So let's first start with our swim team. If we could bring our swimmers up here, please. Yep. Let's first start. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Perfect. Yes. You want, yeah, we should face the board. Even more
There we
perfect.
Either way,
Done.
it's fine. We like the backyard.
We'll first start by congratulating Kings High School junior Maya Swikert, who brought home 2 gold medals at the Ohio High School Athletic Association State Championship swimming in Canton, Ohio. Maya became the first ever Kings swimmer to win 2 state championships in one season. She's also the defending state championship in the 100 backstroke and broke the state record this year to win it once again. She also won a state championship in the 100 butterfly. After her gold-winning performances, Maya was named the Division I Female Performer of the Year. As a junior, this is Maya's 3rd state championships. Special congratulations to Maya. We had a total of 10 King swimmers that ventured to Canton. The girls' 200 medley relay, which consisted of Barrett Hogan, Maddie Van Schoik, Bryn Zisler, and Maya Swikert, finished 13th overall in the state. The boys' 200 medley relay, Jackson Sukavecki, Santiago Garcia, Sam Shrimplin, and Greg Zubkov, finished 15th overall. Abe Malovic and Allison Sukavecki played important roles as the team as this year's alternates. I'd like to take a moment as well to recognize the hard work of Coach Meisner and Coach Six, who's right behind me. Once again, an outstanding job just bringing this team together, leading these young men and women. And it's just been, once again, an unbelievable season for our swim team, our Kings Aqua Knights. We're so proud of them. And one more round of applause for each of them.
That's fine, except for I can't, I have to write. I'm sorry. I know.
Thank you all. Congratulations. Fantastic job. Congratulations. You all. Appreciate it. Coaches, thank you too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you for coming. Congratulations.
Congratulations. To note, out of all of our individual sports in the Kings history, Maya is now our most decorated, being a 3-time state champion with one more year to go. So what a great group. Now, if I could ask for our state indoor track qualifiers to please come to the podium area. The indoor track team sent 6 athletes to the OHSA Indoor Track State Championships on March 8th. Sophomore Shannon Main competed in the pole vault and finished 15th with a vault of 10 feet 6 inches. Senior Lauren Hoff finished 9th with a weight throw of 37 feet 8.25 or 37.825 feet. Junior Jackson Frisk finished 6 feet. Senior Brennan Johnson finished the 200-meter sprint in 5th place with a school record of 22.25 seconds and qualified him for the New Balance Nationals in Boston. Our 4x2 team with senior Vincent Santiago, sophomore Noah Magrino, junior Jackson Frisk, and senior Brennan Johnson placed 5th and once again set a school record at 1 minute, 30 seconds, 0.52. Coach Dave Barta and Holly Schwalbach is coach. There we are. You could come up as well. Have done talk about some busy coaches here at Kings. They coach cross country in the fall, indoor track in the winter, and outdoor track and field in the spring. So we appreciate everything that they do for our athletes. And once again, to this entire group, congratulations and well done.
Great.
I will take a picture with the board. We've got some certificates for you as well.
Can you all stand up a little bit so we can get behind you? You all do the squat much better than us.
That's better.
Very smart. Perfect.
Thanks so much.
You're all coming strong in case you didn't know. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, they know they.
They want to take it. Okay, you're.
So on behalf of the board and the administration, congratulations to all of our athletes and coaches. And want to recognize our parents that are here this evening as well. You know, that's athletics and academics and raising kids is a full-time job. And we're very fortunate for the continued support. All of the hours driving to and from, we're blessed with great families in Kings. So we appreciate and congratulations to you too. So let's give the parents a big round of applause. Next on our presentations, and this is the highlight of every month. We have two of our Kings High School students, Taylor Kleiss and Gabby Cabrera. Each month they provide a raise presentation update for Kings High School. And so this is always a special time when we have lots of students in the audience, because many times these guys are presenting to themselves and just us, because this room isn't very full. So we appreciate you sticking around, because these guys deserve an audience. They do an incredible job every month and just celebrating all the things that are great about Kings High School. And so let's turn it over to our stars, Taylor and Gabby.
Oh, thank you for taking time out of this packed schedule tonight. It's a little bit more nerve-wracking in front of your peers, but we got it. You know. All right, starting off with our athletics. Obviously, we have our swim team, who we just heard from. They sent 10 athletes to compete at state. Maya Schweiker won the 100 butterfly and the 100 backstroke, setting a state record in the backstroke. She was named the 2025 OHSAA Female Performance of the Meet. We're super proud of you, Maya. And then our gymnastics team competed at districts, where Chesney Weisbrod placed 14th on bars and Delaney Seeley placed 15th on beam.
And then, of course, you guys also just heard from the indoor track team, but we are super proud of all those athletes as well. And then a thing Taylor and I are both super excited about, our brand new men's volleyball team have their first ever game tonight at West Claremont. They also have their first home game this Thursday. I know I will definitely be there, and I'm excited to go support them this season.
All right, for our academics. So each year, students from Mason and Kings High Schools are invited to a speech competition on how they see the Rotary Club's four-way test at work. If you're unfamiliar with the Rotary Club's four-way test, it's their decision-making strategy of, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? I was able to compete this year, and my speech, I basically got to put my dad's life through the Rotary Club's four-way test. The winner at the club level is then invited to compete at the district level. So this year, myself and even more won first and second place out of 4 contestants, and I will be competing at Wright State on March 30th. I'm super honored for this opportunity. I'm super excited to represent Kings and Mason Deerfield Rotary at the district level.
Lucy Ajeve's fundraiser for the American Heart Association is still going strong. She has already raised a ton of money, and she had the opportunity to present this project to the Mason Deerfield Rotary Club. The fundraiser is going to go through April 10th. If you're interested in donating, that's the QR code on the screen.
Thank you.
So at the end of February, students took a trip to Monterrey, Mexico, where they got to serve the youth who are placed in local orphanages. Alongside Back-to-Back Ministries, they did projects like paving a new basketball court on the Back-to-Back campus, as well as learning about trauma responses to help better engage with the kids. This year, they also surpassed over 500 student volunteers from Kings over the past decade. 5,000 over the past decade. We're super proud of them. And we're just honored that they're out there serving the community, even out of the country.
Our National Honor Society took a group of 30 seniors to volunteer at A Child's Hope. They got to learn a little bit about the organization and took a tour, and then they packed 9,500 meals, which is enough to feed 26 kids for an entire year. So we are super proud of all the work they did and grateful that they gave back to our community in that way.
So the ASVAB is a standardized test, much like the ACT. The ASVAB can also be used to identify strong academic students and open up other opportunities for free college, serving as an officer or ROTC, using National Guard to pay for tuition, and so much more. We had over 35 King's students take it this year.
Then we had all kinds of groups contribute to Columbia's Heritage Fest. National Art Honor Society and Spanish National Honor Society collaborated to make Spanish fans. And then National Art Honor Society also collaborated with Stronger Together to design unique beads to honor the kids' heritage for bracelets that they made.
All right, so we had several students participate in the Business Professionals of America BPA V10 event, where they showcased their entrepreneurial skills by creating a groundbreaking shoe company called Sweet Souls. Their innovative ideas and business strategies propelled their company to the top 10 in the United States, earning them a spot at the national competition.
Danny Wilson attends the Career Center for Home Construction. He was able to apply his skills by building a new pitching mound for the baseball team. This was a great way for him to practice some of his home construction skills as well as give back to his teammates a little bit.
And of course, we have our Raised Students of the Month. So we have Ty Hughes for respect, Ellie Ball for accountability, Dinara Partiava for integrity, Connor Linehan for service, and Zanib Gasumi for enthusiasm.
And then that's all we have for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in April.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was great. Thank you, girls. As Mr. Sears said, this is always a highlight of our meeting when you present. So we appreciate you doing that.
You know, I will say is I attend Rotary meetings, and I had the opportunity to witness Eva Moore and Taylor's four-way test speech, and they were absolutely incredible, both of them. And then Taylor just the way she tied that and honored her father, he would be super proud. Honestly, there wasn't a dry eye in the place, but we wish you the best moving forward, and both you and Eva were just an incredible job. So thank you. So I'll leave it at this. Anyone, if you are needing or wanting to exit, you can. If you want to stay for our architect presentation for the design of our new high school, we're going to be looking at the interiors. For some of you who are graduating and probably aren't going to be too interested in that, if you need to exit, you can. If not, we'll give you a minute or so, and then we'll start our architect presentation. So thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
You see that to go before and not after.
Okay, as we move on to the next presentation, we're fortunate to have Charlie Janigan and Jenny Gallo from SHP. They have been leading the work behind the scenes and in front of the community for the design of our new high school, and they're going to provide the board and community an update on kind of where we are in the process and unveil some new imagery from the interior, not only some of the athletic, but significant academic spaces this evening that I think we're leaning into. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jenny Gallo.
Thank you so much. A little bit on where we are in this, is this on? There we go.
Yeah.
Where we are in the process and what you're going to be seeing here. We will be submitting our design development documents to our construction manager on April 4th. So we are nearing the end of the second design phase. And what that means is we have a building to show you, both the out, I know you've seen a lot on the exterior. The last time I was here and showed you the interior, the images were in black and white, just kind of a teaser of what's to come. They are now in color and have life and have people, and hopefully you can start to picture yourself and your students and your teachers in these spaces. To get there, we have had a lot of meetings. I actually updated this number today. We had a meeting to talk about fume hoods today. So we have now had 27 staff meetings since the end of January. Some of those are a half hour, some of them are 3-hour marathons. So your staff has done an incredible job of spending time with us. That has allowed spaces like what you're seeing here, the Innovation Hub. Dawn, if you click through these 3 images, you can see the evolution of this space. And this evolution is made possible due to feedback from your staff and your students and your administrative team to really create a space that is unique and is going to serve Kings to the best of its ability. For each space, we have a floor plan that looks like this. We've worked with your staff to talk about furniture, storage needs, technology needs, marker boards, the door types on the room. So we have a snapshot of every room type that goes to this level of detail, which is going to allow our engineers to design the building. It's going to allow the staff to truly understand what they're getting when they move in. And this is the information that's going to feed the estimate that the construction manager will be putting together soon. We have also had 2 full staff engagement meetings at the high school. The first was more interactive. We had them talk about pros and cons of different design decisions. And then the second meeting, we were able to show them how we've responded to their feedback. Just 2 of the topics that we talked about. One was our flexible learning environment. So this is the space outside of our classrooms in our learning communities. We wanted to talk about the connection between the classroom and this space and how it's going to benefit education, but also how we are going to keep safety and security in mind and things like concerns about distractibility of students and keeping them focused. If you go to the next slide, we had a really split group in the audience of folks who saw the educational benefit of a connection to the extended learning area with some glass and with maybe some double doors so you can truly take ownership of this community. But there was the concern of safety and security in the back of everybody's minds, especially with some of the security incident that happened within the district. So where we landed is there's actually a security door or a solid door between the classrooms that have more visibility to the flexible learning environment and its neighbor, which has more of a closed off door. So in a security event, you will be able to shelter in this environment, but day to day, you still have the benefit of that glass connection. So we were able to find a solution that responded to safety and security, but didn't sacrifice the educational opportunities that the new building is going to afford your students. We also talked about staff amenities. It's really easy sometimes to just talk about students, but this is a place for your teachers just as much as it is for your students. So on each floor, we have these staff workroom spaces, which have, typical parts and pieces, refrigerators, microwaves, copiers, but also areas for your staff to collaborate. There are restrooms here. There's a small meeting space or lactation area. So again, taking care of your staff just as much as you're taking care of your students. From that, Charlie's going to give you an update on the exterior.
All righty. We have narrowed in on a lot of the exterior components as far as some of the materials and colors. These are the latest and greatest. This is the event entry where you're looking really in the center of the screen is the theater. And you can see a lot of the architectural embellishments to make it unique to Kings. And it's also, it has subtle or not so subtle references to castle-esque architecture. So this is this kind of looking right, and you're seeing the arena to the right, a strong amount of branding with Columbia blue and red that will also light up at night. And so you can think about the night experience of walking in, how that'll be really themed strong with your brand. This is kind of an aerial, really above Columbia Road or above the current bus building. You can kind of see it right here, transportation building. And how the building will fit within the current junior high and the stadium Again, it's a very compact plan, but it's a very efficient plan. And we're very happy with how all the parts and pieces have come together to be able to create a very modern, forward-thinking school environment for Kings. This is looking at the academic wing. You've got the two courtyards kind of in the middle. And what this will really represent is the main entry where students will enter off of buses. And so that'll be a prominent and frequently traveled entry every day. My last slide is just a shout out to Kings as a whole and the architecture class. They came to our office and we were able to do something called a design charrette with the architecture students. So there are about 35 students, and we split them up into 4 teams, and 2 of them gave us ideas from a student's perspective of how the courtyards could be used. And the other 2 teams gave us ideas for how the stadium entry will be kind of revised, because we're going to be, in essence, moving it closer to parking as a result of the construction of the new building. So it was a great exercise, got a lot of great ideas, cost-effective ideas, actually. So we were really happy with some of the things that came out of it. So they're going to come back again, and I know their teacher's going to continue to push it through the month of March. So we were excited to hear how we could get their ideas brewing.
So with that, we're going to go inside the building, and we have a handful of spaces that you will start to see how the design is coming together and relating. So this is a view if you were to come in the front door of the main entry near the reception. You can start to see how we're using brand graphics and colors in public spaces. As we continue to the other entry, we're looking at the theater entry here. And then if you were to turn your head to the other side, you would see the athletic arena entry. So again, you can see similar graphics to what you saw at the main entry, but using different colors, different graphics to maybe celebrate athletics more here, academics more elsewhere in the building. If we go into that arena, again, you can start to see how we're really capturing your brand using the school colors, really to frame graphics, to frame the court, and keeping the rest of the space really light and airy and bright. I think just having a lot of white complements your brand colors and just creates a space that I think people will really enjoy being in, but also feel, proud to be a Knight in. The student dining room, we have a couple different views here. You've probably seen on the floor plan, we've talked about this learning stair, and that's starting to come to life here. This is a big space, so we're trying to break down the scale using different materials with the wood baffles in the ceiling, carrying that down the walls here and on the learning stair to again start to frame the space, create a spot that could be used for presentations or gathering after school hours or when lunch is not happening. This is going around the corner. And what you're seeing here is the main entry up to our innovation hub and one of the access points to the second floor. When you get to the top of that stair, you would have the opportunity to go into our innovation hub. So this is a 2-story volume that is open to the 3rd floor academic space. Off to the right of the screen, you can start to see a glimpse of the courtyard, which is bringing great daylighting into here. You're going to notice as we transition from the 1st floor to the 2nd floor to the academic spaces, the colors are starting to transition a little bit. We heard a lot from, honestly, primarily your students, that they felt like they wanted brand colors downstairs where they wanted to be active and energized and excited, but upstairs they wanted things a little bit more calmer. They wanted to have softer colors, a little more soothing. So you're seeing still nods to school colors, but we're starting to introduce more earth tones that are taking cues from the natural environment that students will be surrounded by in those courtyards. This is one of our flexible learning areas. So you can see those doors that I mentioned in from the staff presentations. You can start to see the different opportunities students will have here with different furniture types, different heights of furniture, again, to break out of that classroom space and have different interactions with their peers during the academic day. In the classroom spaces, again, you can start to see we're looking to bring in an accent color in one of those more muted tones that I talked about, We've been talking with the staff a little bit about furniture types, and you're seeing the opportunity for tiered seating. So you could have students at a standing height and then a sit-down height. So you could have options in the day, just like we do as adults in the business world. And then this is our biology classroom. So again, you can start to see specialties that we've talked about with the teachers, having access to power, having perimeter cabinetry, access to water and gas. So again, this is all the level of detail that your staff was able to feed us in those meetings. So we're going to continue to develop the interior, just like the exterior has evolved over the last few months. The interior will probably evolve a little bit too. And next time we will have spaces like the auditorium to share with you as well. So we're really excited about what we're seeing and look forward to hearing, wrapping up our design development phase. Any questions for either of us?
No.
One quick question. So when you met with the architecture students, Charlie, you mentioned that they'd come up with some cost effective. What were some of those ideas?
So the best idea, we talked about the stadium entry, and Don can kind of, you don't see it. Go back one more. It's basically an area right here is going to be kind of a revised entry into the stadium, because the density of parking is going to be right here. So there's going to be a new ticket booth and the opportunity for, it was a blank slate, basically. There's some detention there that because we need to detain some water, and they said, well, let's make this look like a moat around a castle. And okay, we get that. But then they were like, how about we could put in food trucks and put parking for food trucks? And we were like, that's genius, because the district won't have to construct, the variety of food options. So it was a really great idea. And so one of the teams had a sketch with, a Kona ice truck, and then there was a barbecue truck, and it could change throughout the season. So we thought that was a great idea. And then as far as the courtyards, they were also realizing the scale of it. I think that's a big thing to understand as a young designer is scale and size. And they realized how many people could be out there and how the different functionality. And so they were crafting up ideas where multiple groups could be out there at the same time, utilizing it on a day like today. So that was fun to see that their understanding and realization of the functionality that could happen. So. Any other questions?
Oh, exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie and Jenny, and for all the work you're putting in, listening to all of our feedback. Sometimes I don't know if you want it, but you certainly get it. So you take it all in stride. So we do appreciate your work and look forward to seeing that continue to evolve.
Just a question. Do our students get to test your software? I mean, this is just incredible, like to be able to see it. I mean, it almost looks like a picture versus.
So actually, your architecture class is starting to use Revit, which is the program that we work in. And we provided them with some of the areas of the building. So they're actually in 3D themselves in the new school, applying their own design concepts to it.
Okay.
So they're starting to learn these programs, and yeah, it's pretty
Awesome.
exciting. Yeah.
Thank you.
The only thing I can say is, could you just have it ready for next school year?
You can say yes. HGC is the one that has to answer to that. Well, good. Moving forward, next on our agenda is our continuing our trend of strategic initiative updates throughout our district. Every month we've had a different school highlight how they are bringing to life our strategic initiatives, and we are excited tonight as well that even our most youngest learners are applying many of our initiatives and skills that we often talk about. So we're really fortunate to have folks from our KECC here this evening and Principal Mary Beth Fossey.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us tonight. Like Greg said, I'm Mary Beth Fossey. I'm the principal of King's Early Childhood Center. I have some of my colleagues with me. I have Alexis Som. She is the preschool psychologist. I have Tanya Dozier. She is one of our general education teachers. And I have Teresa Frazier, and she is one of our integrated teachers. And we're here to talk to you about how we support district initiatives at the preschool. I'm going to kick us off with some personalized learning, Don. So the district initiative is to start incorporating more personalized learning, pre-K through 12, but personalized learning is actually, personalized learning is actually the foundation for early childhood education. So it's not something that we have to learn how to do. It's something that we naturally do. Teachers tailor their instruction to meet the needs of each child. They meet them at their interest and ability levels. Every classroom dedicates daily time to free choice time. And so it looks like kids are playing, and this is center time, but the centers are planned very intentionally. The open-ended materials are chosen intentionally, and this allows for student exploration. This purposeful play allows for students to build confidence and to have joy in their educational experience. It allows teachers to instruct organically and incorporate Ohio's early learning standards. So this is my favorite example that we've come across so far. Tanya gave me these pictures. This is what was happening in her classroom one day, but it is something that you can see in every classroom every day at the preschool. These two guys decided that they wanted to build a city at the Block Center. So they got together, communicated with each other, collaborated with each other, used critical thinking skills to problem solve their design to build their city. They may be future city planners or architects someday. So they actually, didn't know that they were doing this, but they were demonstrating all of the Power 5 future skills. And that's something that you can see every day at the preschool. And Mrs. Dozier is going to go into more detail about those.
Hello. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about how we connect the Power 5 skills to student learning in preschool. So what we did first is we met together as a staff, and we just kind of brainstormed some ways that we incorporate these throughout the year. So the first slide shows just some common opportunities for all the students at preschool throughout the year. So we just have our family literacy night, our gingerbread night, which is a whole school event. We all go to the post office on a field trip. The fire department comes. We all do Star Student in our classroom. We just had our school-wide glow walk. Miss Sum, our psychologist, comes in and does some social emotional learning. And then Little Nights on the Move is with our related services. And I'll kind of detail more of these as we go throughout the slides. So one of the first things that we would like our preschoolers to do is become good communicators. So if you notice the picture down there on the bottom left, that's where Alexis, our psychologist, comes in and she reads a story each month to the students, and they're participating maybe in answering questions, or they're listening and just helping build those communication skills. And the other two pictures, we have a Star Student each week, and each classroom does it a little bit differently, but they get to present to the class. The boys and girls listen. They might ask them questions about things they brought in. So they're just building those communication skills there too. And then also we do a lot with family traditions, and the children kind of bring in their posters with some things that they do at home. So all of those kind of build those communication skills. So we also want our students to be critical thinkers. Our school-wide event is our family literacy night, which happens in the fall. Parents come in with their students. They get to visit stations and kind of become critical thinkers as they're working through all the stations. We also do like science experiments, science exploration, math games, and those pictures just kind of show some different examples in the classroom that the children get to be involved in during their center time. We also want our students to be problem solvers. The Little Nights on the Move is a once a month like obstacle course and stations that are related service, like our physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists. They design it for the students, and they get to rotate through stations. They're working on their skills while doing it in a fun way, but it's like that's a school-wide event that takes place. And also a gingerbread night where they get to come in, they build a gingerbread house, so they have to think and be creative and kind of problem solve how they're going to get that together. And that's for all families to be involved in. Just some other things we do in the classroom, just lots of hands-on learning experiences, like building caves with marshmallows and toothpicks, and they have to, be problem solvers. How are they going to get that together? It's for their little bears. We have lots of open-ended learning experiences as well, just to continue to help build those skills. We also want our preschoolers to be good collaborators. We do lots of teamwork, lots of group projects. We just had our school-wide glow walk where they were sharing in that experience together in the dark gym with all the glow things. So that was lots of fun. Like building blocks, that was just another example up there. We usually try to bring in some things in our block center just to help them. And that was around Christmas time. There was sleighs, there was Santa, there was reindeers. They're building Santa's village. They're, being lots of teamwork going on with that too. So that was fun. And then the last slide is just, we developed those skills just to kind of get their thoughts about maybe what they want to do when they grow up. So we bring the fire department in, but then we also create our dramatic play with the fire station and let them kind of experiment with some of those materials. We go on a visit to the post office, and you see that they're buying their stamps, and then we also bring that into our classroom and create our little dramatic play with that. So all of those things kind of help build some leadership skills, some independence and responsibility, just to get them started for their careers one day. So.
All right. And so next I'll be talking about PBIS. So this is something that we just ramped up the past 2 years. So PBIS stands for Positive Behavior Intervention Support. And this is something that Ohio has really tried to prioritize for all districts. So it is a framework where it is tiered from tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And that is how we deliver services regarding academics, social support, or behavioral support. And it is a proactive approach to help build those positive behaviors and promote school culture. So when PBIS is implemented with fidelity, there is evidence to suggest that it decreases office referrals, in-school suspensions, out-of-school suspensions, and increases instructional time in the classroom. So if we can start that really young, it is really critical that we continue to build on those skills, especially as they get older. So downstairs, we have our tier 1, and we have 3 behavior expectations that we are really focusing on, and we have just started introducing it to 3 different settings. So 3 common areas that the kids are exposed to are the gym, the playground, and the playroom. In different behavior expectations, we try to encourage our to be safe, be kind, and be problem solvers. We have these positively stated so that way the children know the expectations. When the expectations are don't run, it's limiting to the child and they are not quite sure, like, okay, no, I don't run, but maybe I can skip instead or jump. So when we positively state we can use walking feet in the hallway, it helps lead them by example of, okay, this is what I should be doing. So I have a behavior expectation listed there. And then on the right is a castle, and there are 3 different cards below it. So if students are caught being safe, kind, or problem solvers in any of these 3 settings, they can earn a night for their classroom. And when the classroom earns all 4 nights, they get a positive incentive. So different incentives that the classrooms have utilize include extra time at recess, or just a positive phone call home, letters home, maybe a preferred snack. So different things like that. Mrs. Dozier actually has had kids, choose, maybe they are deciding between 2 different incentives. So that way it really gets the students motivated to, be safe, be kind, and be problem solvers. And then in addition to that tier 1 support, I go into every preschool classroom and offer a social emotional just curriculum that is evidence-based. So this is called a Little Scribble Spot, and it teaches students how to identify their feelings. So this month I'm actually reading about a little peaceful spot, and so they're learning different strategies on how to calm their body when they're worried, angry, or maybe sad. And so with the Peaceful Spot, I had a little activity for them to do together. And so they got a green pipe cleaner and put 4 beads on it, and they had to move the bead every time they took a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And so they are wearing their breathing bracelets all throughout the week. It's been really fun to see them use it. And I've actually seen some kids on the playground be like, oh, like you look really sad. You should use your breathing bracelet. So it's just really cool to see that they are taking in all of this social emotional learning and utilizing it with their peers. Yeah, in just a school setting.
Hi, I'm going to talk to you about our culture. We have a culture committee. We call ourselves the Culture Club. We think we're pretty cool. We met this fall and we looked at the district blueprint and we planned out some initiatives. Each month, we're talking about 3 different things. At our monthly staff meetings, we're reminding the staff of what we're working on for the month. And then we're encouraging them to reach out to the families and to also use those phrases in their own classrooms. So a lot of times when our students are working together, we'll say, look at you, you're stronger together. Or if something's really challenging, we say, you got that. You said yes to the hard things. Now that we have shared with our parents and our students, we would love to share a video with you to show you how we're doing that all day long throughout our building.
Thank you very much for having us here tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Mary Beth, do you have an award winner with you right there? I think I saw something.
Your positivity. So Miss Som is like a little bubbly sparkle downstairs, and she promotes positivity with students and with staff and with families. And so Warren County, I believe each month goes through a fairly rigorous process to choose a staff member that really, what did they call it? Thank you for pulling it up. Because it's great. Oh, a champion for children. That's what it's called. I couldn't remember that for a second. Yeah, champion for children. And so it's actually a really great honor that she got that. And we're really proud that she's with us and happy she's one of our colleagues.
Yes, congratulations.
So happy to be birthday. Great colleagues.
We're happy you're here too, and all of you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you all for, and Mary Beth, especially for your leadership and for bringing this wonderful group tonight. You guys have, truly over the last few years really embraced. And I think you can see evidence in that tonight that and this staff has come together, embraced the strategic initiatives, and you can see the foundation that's being set at such an early age. We're really excited about how that's going to carry forward in the future. So thank you all for your efforts, and go enjoy this evening. So. Stop.
Okay, we're going to shift gears here. A lot of excitement and great things going on at King's as always, and it's always great to see. But we'd be remiss if we didn't take the opportunity to discuss this again. We touched on it at the work session last week. Night Nation News, it will be a recurring item throughout the spring. It'll also be recurring at board meetings, state funding updates. So we don't have a definitive update or anything kind of in stone to update the board on, but I did want to remind the board and community that under the governor's proposal, we're facing approximately $2 million of cuts over a 3-year period. We have that pretty graph to the right showing a downward trajectory in the amount of money that we get from the state as our enrollment and student needs continue to grow. So it's very challenging for us and our community. Wanted to point out once again that we've been working with local and state level advocacy groups to formulate what do we do, what are King's talking points, how can we help make it so this doesn't become a reality. So I'll get to the request in a minute, but we're trying to find ways that we can help King's and help other districts across the state so we're aligned in our messaging. We think that's really important for that alignment piece, that everybody's talking the same language and asking for the same thing. So that way we have that united front, and it shows our legislators at the state level that we know what we're talking about. And this isn't a scattershot idea. This is very direct. So we did send out a form letter and a contact list in the Night Nation News last week that outlined our four talking points and 4 requests from the state. We'll continue to push that out. We have a state advocacy group that Mr. Sears and I are a part of, along with community members that got this before, and we thought it was good to start pushing in our community members' hands so they can pass along the word too, to make sure it doesn't get missed in any inboxes, and it's shown that this is the King's community that's fighting for state funding. So just briefly, the requests. So there's 4 bullet points that go into a little bit more detail in the form letter, but we're asking for a funding guarantee. As a growing district, don't take money away from us in times of inflation. The cost of everything's going up. We're getting more kids. We need the money that we're getting, so we ask that the state not cut us. 2024 cost inputs. The state's formula that they use to fund schools says how much does it cost to actually fund a student, to educate a student. Right now they're using costs from 2022. The governor's proposal said continue using the costs from 2022. It just doesn't make sense. A lot's changed since 2022. Things are more expensive, so we want the state to update their formula to the most recent costs, cost to educate a student. Categorical funding. This is those special revenue lines that help offset cost for a number of categories, including special education and English second language. We have seen growing costs and number of students in these 2 categories specifically. Mr. Sears and I like to point out on the categorical funding front that right now we're funded for 712 English second language students. We get $180,000. 712 kids that we're trying to provide services to, and they give us $180,000 to help offset that expense. It's a lot of kids and not very much money. And then property tax reform. This isn't advocating for funding for Kings. This is advocating for help for the elderly and vulnerable in our community. If you make a certain amount of money and you're a certain age and you're disabled, you get a break on your property taxes. It makes perfect sense, but the levels and the level of income that you need to be at to be able to take advantage of that is so low that our community and communities across the state don't get to truly take advantage of that in most situations. So we're asking that the state legislator change that so our elderly and disabled community members can get property tax breaks more fairly. And then this also on the flip side says if you own property and you're basically renting it out for a profit, that you shouldn't get the same tax breaks as community members that actually live here do, and use that money to help offset the costs at the state level to help the elderly and disabled. So that one just makes a lot of sense, and it makes a lot of sense for our community. So our 4 talking points that we'll continue to send out in a form letter, and as well as the contact list for our local legislators, but then also the more powerful chairs and leaders of committees to be able to send this directly to them. So as I said, we'll continue to update the board as this evolves, because it'll certainly evolve over the next 3 months. But it's something we need to make sure we're getting the word out about as much as possible.
Just piggyback on what Mr. Morrow was bringing up, and we want to keep this at the forefront of our community. So I was fortunate to have I had a long conversation with State Representative Adam Matthews today, and part of our conversation was he was acknowledging the efforts of the Kings community to provide advocacy for what we believe is right for our school districts. He acknowledged that he had received a significant number of inquiries from families. He was appreciative of the approach that our families and parents are advocating for, and he is wanted to assure us that he is listening. And so he shared with some things that he's doing at the state level. He was actually on his way to Columbus when we spoke today. And I think I spoke to him half of his drive. And there's a number of efforts. I know that the work that the community is doing and the sharing of information, it matters. And Adam Matthews acknowledged that today, that he hears us. I truly believe he has a very good sense on the state funding formula and its impact on Kings. I also took the opportunity to reiterate to Mr. Matthews some of the other categorical pieces and some of the data behind what we even discussed last week and some of the funding components of that. So we appreciate all of our community. I think we need to keep that up. I would say we're in the first quarter of a 4-quarter event. And so we are in the first quarter, but I think the point is they're getting the information, they're listening, and I think are using that to make things move forward and advocate for different components, especially at the committee level. I think that's where legislators make a big impact, at the committee level. And Adam was explaining some of the things that they were working through, and he was using Kings as an example of why things need to change at the committee level. So we're appreciative. We have, I think, good partnership with all of our legislators, great relationships with them. We appreciate our community advocating in a respectful, problem-solving, proactive approach. These are all great people that are really trying to do good work for Ohio, and I think there's opportunity for us to continue to fine-tune the message. But I think the point of all of that is listening. So we appreciate those who have communicated, and I think it's a great opportunity for more folks to engage into that. So we just want to keep it at the forefront. We'll keep that out there in our community, but appreciate what's happening so far.
Thank you. So moving on, next on our agenda is public participation. Seeing we have none tonight, we will move on to approval items from the treasurer. Mr. Morrow?
Thank you. I do have one addition to the agenda from the work session that I wanted to point out. This is more of a procedural item. We're required to partner with a company that helps us with our workers' compensation claims and also unemployment. So they work with an employee when they're injured for them to get the care that they need, and then work for us to help vet claims and make sure that valid claims are being processed accordingly. We've used this provider for years. They're great, great communication. It's only $2,420. I assure you we get great value for that $2,420. And then if there's any questions about this item or any of the other items since the work session, I'm more than happy to answer those.
No questions? Okay. May I have a motion to approve these items for Mr. Morrow?
I'll make that motion.
I will second the motion.
Mr. Morrow?
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom,
Yes.
Ms. Cowan, Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Mr. Skrull.
Yes. Next item on our agenda, we have our approval items for the superintendent. Mr. Sears, back to you.
I have nothing new from the work session for the field trips or the OFCC submission.
Any questions for Mr. Sears? Aside from the typical, when does the board get their invite to some of these field trips? Still waiting. May I have a motion to approve these items?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion. Mr. Morrow?
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Mr. Skrull,
Yes.
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips.
Yes.
Moving on now, we have approval items from Assistant Superintendent HR Business. Mr. Spinner?
President Skrull, King's Board of Education. Just a couple of notes on my agenda this evening. First up, under personnel, you'll notice we added a couple resignations due to retirement purposes, and I'd like to recognize those two staff members who have put in a lot of time and energy into our school district over the years. First up, congratulations to Mrs. Dawn Gould, who, after 12 years of serving as our community relations coordinator, has submitted her resignation for retirement. Dawn has overseen all aspects of communication throughout our school district, including, but not limited to, the Night Nation News, community newsletter, our social media channels, and of course, perhaps her most popular role, the voice of our snow delays and days. This past fall, it goes without note that Dawn received the prestigious People's Choice Award at the annual Mason Deerfield Chamber Gems of Excellence Awards. Congratulations, Dawn. Also on the agenda this evening, resignation due to retirement purposes. Congratulations go out to Mr. Dave Weinbrenner. After 23 years of service to the Kings Local School District as a coach, guidance counselor, an assistant principal, and a principal, Dave has submitted his resignation for retirement. Throughout his time at Kings, Dave has made a meaningful impact in the roles mentioned above, serving in 5 of our district's 7 buildings. Additionally, in 2014, he was honored as the Assistant Principal of the Year by the Ohio Association of Elementary School Administrators. Congratulations to Dave Weinbrenner.
I would like to wish both of them very good luck in their retirements. You will both be missed.
I'll say this. We'll have plenty of time to celebrate Dawn. She's given so much to this entire community and support of our board and me personally. Although we're accepting the resignation, tonight is not the night to celebrate, but it will be big, and it's a beautiful day for Dawn, that we are accepting her retirement notice. I always say that so many times in our world, that you make decisions and sacrifices for the best of what's best for everyone else, whether it's kids or staff or whatever. And retirement is that one time where you get to make that decision for what's best for yourself. And so I think we're all jealous and envious of Dawn to being in that, and we will have plenty of time to celebrate you, but we appreciate it. And before we went further, Mr. Spinner, I just wanted to acknowledge that. Thanks.
I will just say for the record, that was very well said, Mr. Sears, but personally speaking, I'm accepting it begrudgingly, and I'm going to need these 4 months to get there. And Mrs. Gould knows that.
The final item on my agenda this evening is a contract proposal between Novo Staffing and Kings. Novo Staffing is a third-party vendor. We have exhausted and will continue to exhaust all of our traditional staffing options. However, due to shortages in specific support staff areas, we believe it is necessary to explore alternative solutions. Novo is one such staffing company. There are several that I'd like to have some conversations with over the next few months, and our attorneys have vetted this contract prior to bringing it to the table for our board to vote.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Spinner? No. May I have a motion to approve this agenda item?
I'll make that motion, President Skrull.
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Morrow, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Belfrom,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Ms. Groff,
It's a hard one, but yes.
Ms. Cowan, Mr. Skrull.
Yes. Moving along, now we have approval items for Assistant Superintendent Educational Programs. Mrs. Martin?
Everyone, Matt has a few follow-ups from the work session that he wanted to give some answers to, and just a quick update on the adoption of the ELA program.
Thanks, Dana. Just the first item that we have listed there is a voting item, which we received actually the following day after our work session. So apologies for not being there last Tuesday, but this is an MOU for Cincinnati State and continuation of our opportunity for students to take College Credit Plus courses there. The only addition, costs still remain at the state floor level, which is just shy of $42 a credit hour. They have added a new option for online or in-person CCP classes. For examples, College Credit Plus students only. So our students are not guaranteed to be in an online class with only other high school students. It could be anybody that's enrolled in the different schools where students attend, but this is just an option that Cincinnati State has made available to area school districts at our request. We have not made that request, but it's an option if that's something that we would want to do in the future. But that's the only update over last year's agreement. So any questions on that one?
Do you have a percentage of how many kids attend Cincinnati State or even
I think we have 3 students right now that are attending Cincinnati State. Most of our students,
Sinclair?
attend Sinclair.
Yep.
Yeah. The next item is just the ELA adoption that was presented last week.
Can we?
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're gonna take a.
Oh, I got you.
take
I'm
a vote
sorry.
on this first. May I have a motion to approve the MOU for Cincinnati State?
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Morrow?
Ms. Cowan,
Yes.
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Belfrom,
Yes.
Mr. Skrull.
Yes. Mr. Freeman, please continue.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry about that. The next one, just the ELA adoption. So we're continuing to kind of work through the details. Would like to kind of make sure we have our professional development plan in order before we ask in April for you to approve that. But in advance, if there's any questions that you have from last week or anything, happy to entertain those if you have them now, or if you have anything, you can send it our way. But certainly just wanted to bring that back up and let you know that in April we'll be coming for formal approval. And then lastly, I think Mrs. Groff, you had asked a question specifically around EL. We were talking about the increases there. Don't have an exact number, a good number, but Mike has shared, I think in the past, that we have added a number of staff. So when you think of the staff costs of our 10 teacher TESOL team, that's significant over the last couple of years. And that amounts to upwards of $850,000 for those 10 teachers. In addition, we provide interpreters for state testing, which is right around the corner. Our office works with all the buildings to organize and handle all of that. We purchased
obviously materials. We do have a board approved resource for our study skills classes in National Geographic. So as numbers and teachers are added, that brings additional cost over the years for replacement materials, additional materials for that. So it's a lot. So I think the categorical funding component that Mr. Sears and Mr. Morrow are advocating for, we could certainly benefit from. Hopefully that's helpful.
That's very helpful. I just want the community to understand when we say categorical funding, what that means in terms of dollars, and we get 180,000 to offset that. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Freeman? Okay, moving on, items presented by the board. Nope. Okay, seeing nothing, we'll move on to our legislative liaison update. Mr. Belfram?
Thank you, President Scurll. And I have a couple of things I'll just highlight. And my apologies, sir. I did not get these uploaded, but I will. And going forward, I will as well.
Thank you.
So the main thing, and I think Mr. Morrow covered this with the House Bill 96, and it's been the proposed operations budget has been sent to the governor, and that's really where we're, as outlined by our treasurer, the 3-year $2 million deficit. So I would just reinforce with our community advocacy that we send out those letters to Columbus with the 4 points because it's really pertinent that they hear from us as a community. As Mrs. Groff just mentioned with the categorical funding, how important it is that they understand. I think what I've noticed too, Mr. Sears, with respect to what you said, speaking to our representative, is that they understand that we understand, right? And that we understand as a community the implications of these finer points within the bill. So I think sometimes that, I don't want to say applies pressure, but when they're aware that we're very much aware of what these impacts, the implications of this can be, and, to a fine point, I think it resonates a little more. So that was the main thing I know that you all covered. And I just had a couple that I wanted to highlight here that I saw that are currently in committee. House Bill 62, which is still in committee, and that bill changes actually the College Credit Plus program, including requiring notice to school districts when a student drops a college course, and transitioning to open source textbooks and lowering the cost of certain online CCP courses. We are very fortunate to have Mrs. Martin and Mr. Freeman, and they do a great job, the overview of these costs. So if we can get some traction on that, or perhaps they don't have to spend time looking through several different options, that if we can find something comprehensive that is affordable, that would be awesome. Just a couple more. Also in committee, we have in the Transportation Committee, House Bill 54, which one of the key things it does is that it would authorize school districts to utilize 12 passenger vehicles for regular student transportation. Don't know how that would impact us specifically. When we get a little further, we can discuss that with Mr. Lucky, because that may be some savings there. Let me pull up. There was one more I wanted to share. Yes, actually, that's also in committee in the Ways and Means Committee is House Bill 28, which is actually co-sponsored by our Representative Adam Matthews. And that bill would authorize a full homestead exemption. Oh, excuse me, I'm reading the wrong one. It actually would eliminate the authority to levy replacement property taxes. And we'll keep an eye on that one just going forward, and how that may or may not impact the community here as well. And as I said, Mr. Scurll, President Scurll, I'll make sure I have these up going forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Belfram? All right, thank you for that thorough update. Then moving along now, we have our Student Achievement Liaison update. Mrs. Groff?
Yes. Okay, so staying with the Power Five, we have a few different examples from different schools. So first, we had a recent visit to KME. They had a visit from an author, Pat Zelo Miller. The students learned about communication not only in the written form of a book, but also in her presentation, and then they got to ask her questions. So pretty special to meet an author in person. As our critical thinking, as we all make our college basketball brackets, JF Burns students are starting their March Madness book bracket. As the students critically think about the books that they will read, they will determine which book makes it to the Final Four and eventually even the champion. So we can't wait to see who wins. Problem solving. Mrs. Hawk's Project Lead the Way classes problem solve with various circles on Pi Day at the junior high. They measured crackers, peach rings, and cookies to discover the relationship between the circumference and diameter. This is a great example of STEM classes focusing on math and making it fun on 3.14 day. Talk about collaboration. JF Burns, Columbia Intermediate School, and Kings High School all worked together to put on a heritage festival. Students were able to participate in dance, art, food presentations, bringing all of these different age groups together. And then finally, career ready. Our architect already spoke about this earlier today, but SHP invited our high school architectural students to their offices so that they could see the high school design process. I just know that myself and the rest of the board members want to thank SHP for including our students in this process. It makes our high school even more special knowing that the students had input. And that's it for the month.
Thank you.
You're
Good
welcome.
presentation. And I know I attended the Heritage Night there at Columbia, and there were so many people there. Mr. Sears, what did we count? 27 different countries, I think.
Some different countries.
Yeah. Yeah. So good to see the different heritages and just the talent of these kids. Some of those kids up there dancing, the choir there from JF Burns. Really a fun event.
Awesome.
With that's a good thing to close our meeting out on. So next up we have is adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting?
Second the motion, President Scurll.
Mr. Morrow.
Ms. Cowan, Mr. Belfrom,
Yes.
Ms. Groff,
Yes.
Ms. Phillips,
Yes.
Mr. Scurll.
Yes. Thank you everyone for coming out.